You're sitting across from her, caught in the rhythm of conversation when something imperceptible changes. The shift isn't dramatic, no grand gestures or sudden confessions, but the air between you becomes charged with possibility. Her voice drops slightly, softening at the edges, as if the words are meant for you alone. Her eyes, which earlier darted between her drink and the room around you, now hold your gaze a fraction longer than necessary. There's a new weight to her words, a careful selection that wasn't there before. Most men miss this moment entirely, dismissing it as mere friendliness or casual flirtation. But the man who's truly present recognizes it for what it is. The first, quiet invitation into something deeper. Women don't operate like men when it comes to intimacy. Where a man might state his desires directly, a woman communicates in layers, in subtle cues and unspoken tests. She won't tell you she's interested, she show you, dropping hints like breadcrumbs to see if you're perceptive enough to follow. Before physical intimacy ever enters the picture, she offers something far more telling, her language. The way she phrases things, the small admissions she lets slip, the questions she asks, all of it is a carefully constructed code. If you're listening, really listening, you'll hear it. This initial shift is where everything begins. It's the moment she decides, consciously or not, to let you in just a little further. Maybe she shares something personal, not a deep secret, but a small vulnerability, a glimpse beneath the surface. Or perhaps she leans in slightly, closing the physical distance between you in a way that feels natural, almost accidental. The key isn't to pounce on these signals, but to acknowledge them with the same quiet confidence that drew her attention in the first place. React too eagerly, and you risk breaking the spell. Dismiss it entirely, and the moment slips away. The magic lies in the balance, being aware enough to catch the shift, but grounded enough not to disrupt it. This is where most men fail. They either miss the signs completely, barreling forward, without reading the room, or they notice and overcorrect, turning what should be an organic connection into something forced. But the man who understands simply lets the moment breathe. He doesn't rush, he doesn't push. He meets her energy with his own steady presence, allowing the tension to build naturally. Because before anything physical can happen, there has to be this, the silent agreement that you're both playing the same game, moving to the same rhythm. And it all starts with recognizing that first, almost invisible, shift. The moment she says asterisk, I've never told anyone this before, asterisk, you're being handed a key not just to her thoughts, but to her trust. This isn't idle conversation. It's a deliberate act of emotional exposure, a test wrapped in vulnerability. She's giving you a piece of herself to see how you'll hold it. Most men fumble here. They either seize the moment to make it about themselves, offering unsolicited advice, or steering the conversation toward their own experiences, or they dismiss it entirely, brushing past her admission with a joke or a change of subject. But the man who understands stays present. He listens without rushing to fill the silence. He acknowledges what she shared without dissecting it. In that stillness, she feels seen and trust begins to form. Then there's the line asterisk. I don't usually do this. Asterisk on the surface, it sounds like hesitation, but beneath it lies something far more telling. Surrender. She's admitting you've disrupted her usual patterns, that something about you has overridden her normal defenses. This isn't a throwaway comment, it's permission in disguise. Most men hear this and panic, assuming she's having second thoughts. They backtrack, soften their approach, or worse, try to convince her why she should be doing this. But the man who gets it knows better. He doesn't justify or explain. He simply lets the moment settle, allowing her to sit with the tension of her own desire. These phrases aren't accidents. They're emotional breadcrumbs, each one a small step toward deeper intimacy. "You're different" isn't just flattery, it's her way of reconciling her attraction with her past experiences. "I feel so safe with you" isn't just comfort, it's the foundation of genuine arousal. The key isn't to react to these lines, but to recognize them for what they are. Subtle invitations to step closer. The magic happens in the spaces between words, the pause after she shares something personal, the way her body language shifts when she tests your reaction. Most men are so focused on what to say next that they miss the real conversation happening beneath the surface. But the man who listens not just to her words, but to what she's truly saying earns more than her attention. He earns her willingness to unravel. And once that happens, everything else follows. When she looks at you and says, "You're different." She's not just offering a compliment, she's revealing something fundamental has shifted in how she perceives you. This isn't about being better than other men. It's about existing outside the predictable patterns she's come to expect. Most guys hear this and immediately try to prove it, launching into stories or qualities they think justify the claim. But the man who truly is different doesn't need to explain himself. He simply continues being exactly who he's been all along, consistent, grounded, and entirely unfazed by her approval. That quiet assurance is what makes her believe it in the first place. There's "I feel so safe with you." Most men mistake this for the friend zone, not realizing that real safety isn't the absence of desire, it's the prerequisite for it. A woman who feels truly safe isn't guarded. Her nervous system relaxes, her body language opens, and the tension shifts from "should I trust him?" to "what would it feel like to let go?" This is where most men sabotage themselves. They hear "safe" and assume passion is missing, so they abruptly change gears, turning aggressive, making sudden moves, or cracking inappropriate jokes to spice things up. But the man who understands stays the course. He knows safety isn't the end of attraction, it's the foundation. When she feels secure enough to be vulnerable, that's when real intimacy begins. The power lies in patience. "I don't know what it is about you" isn't confusion, it's fascination. She can't logically explain her draw to you, and that unnerves her in the best way. Most men try to fill that space with reasons, selling themselves when her emotions are already sold. But the man who remains a mystery, who lets her sit with that unresolved tension, becomes someone she can't stop thinking about. Not because he's perfect, but because he's present. Not because he's trying, but because he's there, and that's what makes all the difference. The moment she murmurs "I don't know why I'm telling you this ... with a nervous laugh, you've already won. This isn't just oversharing, it's unconscious surrender. Her filters are failing, her carefully constructed walls crumbling, not because you broke them down, but because your presence made them irrelevant. Most men pounce here, either seizing the moment to escalate physically or analyzing her confession like it's a puzzle to solve. But the man who understands simply lets the words hang in the air, maintaining the same calm energy that made her feel safe enough to reveal herself in the first place. That quiet acceptance is more intoxicating than any reaction could ever be. Then comes "what are we doing?" A question that sends most men into panic mode. They hear demands for commitment where none exist, scrambling to define things before she changes her mind. But what she's really asking isn't about labels, it's about direction. She wants to know if you're leading with purpose or waiting for her to take the reins. The wrong answer is any version of "what do you want us to be?" The right answer? Holding her gaze and responding with the same grounded certainty that brought you here. Not with promises, but with presence. Not with pressure, but with patience. This is where the real shift happens. When she says, "Your trouble," with that mix of warning and want in her voice, she's not accusing you, she's admitting you've gotten under her skin in ways she can't control. Most men either apologize or lean into the bad boy act, both missing the point entirely. The truth? She doesn't want you to be less trouble. She wants to feel like you're worth the risk. And when she whispers asterisk, I probably shouldn't say this ... Late at night, what follows isn't just a thought, it's the unraveling of every reservation she thought she had. Your only job is to listen and let her surprise herself. The final surrender never comes with fireworks or dramatic declarations. It happens in the quiet spaces between breaths, when her nervous laughter fades into weighted silence and her eyes linger on yours a moment too long. She might say asterisk, we shouldn't, even as her fingers trace idle patterns on your arm, the contradiction between her words and actions betraying what she truly wants. Most men hear the hesitation and pull back, mistaking it for rejection rather than recognizing it as the last trembling boundary before surrender. But the man who understands remains steady, his calm presence giving her permission to cross that final line without saying a word. There's a particular electricity in the air when a woman moves past permission slips and testing phrases into uncharted territory. I've never felt this way before. Isn't just romantic hyperbole. It's her subconscious acknowledging you've rewritten her emotional rules. The way she touches you changes, less tentative, more claiming. Her questions shift from asterisk, what are we doing, to asterisk, when can I see you again?